Okay, Don, could you just let us know who you are, please?
My name is Don Mansfield, and I've been on staff for 38 years, most of which overseas. And presently, I'm the regional director for the Pacific Island region, which is basically the 21 island nations in the Pacific Ocean.
Great, thanks. What problem did you face in your area when you started there?
We had a lot of ministry, but we didn't really have what I call movements. And there was a delineation, there was a need to delineate those two because we were dying. Our average age was about 47 years old. We hadn't brought on a whole lot of staff since 1993, at least out of the campus. And the average age of the staff were getting older and older, and the ministry was declining. We actually had people dying out.
Okay. Yeah, so what did you want to achieve? What desired outcome did you have?
Well, within Camps Crusade for Christ, we have what we call mission critical components, MCCs. And it just struck me in the context of where we were that what really was critical was not necessarily achieving a multiplicity of ministries, but what was critical was surviving. We really had to be able to continue on, and we had to decide if what God had called us to do was worth doing, was it really worth doing for the next number of generations? And if so, how do you continue to equip the next generation? How do you continue to get them involved? It was kind of like when the airline's security briefing goes, and they talk about the face masks or the oxygen mask dropping down. You better put it on your own face first, otherwise you're going to pass out and not help anybody. And I felt like that's the situation we were in. So we had to be concerned about the critical issue of staffing and raising up leadership to build the movements. Otherwise, nothing would be in existence at all. That's what we want to achieve: solid, capable manpower that would then represent the movements and build other movements, and thus help the entire body of Christ.
Okay, great. It sounds like you're saying that you wanted to achieve multiplication that could last beyond you. Is that right?
Exactly right.
Okay, excellent. So what did you do differently to help to move towards this goal?
Except for a couple of ministries that were kind of there, and we respected the people that were doing them, and we knew that it probably wouldn't change if we, besides those two situations, we shut down everything else in the region and said we're not going to do anything else but campus ministry. And the reason we did that is we felt the thing that we got to do is we've got to see quick, steady, and intensive discipleship in the most sendable population. And we felt that was the university. And so we focused on the university. We are focusing on the university, and we will continue to focus on the ministry that is in the university, in building strong, real movements where winning people to the Lord, building them in their faith, training them to do the same, and then sending them out. It's not just a theory. We're actually seeing it. We're doing it. It's solid. It's grounded. It's seen as the central focus of what we have to do. Before we do anything else, we're not going to do anything else but make sure that we're going to have that. And so we started in 2008, late 2007, even before I arrived. Others were even seeing that and were making the type of directive decision-making that said we must tell people that they can't just dabble around and do things that aren't going to help that focus. So and when I came in, I reinforced that. I became known as Dr. No. No, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. Everybody had a lot of good ideas, but they weren't going to be the things that are going to help us achieve survival and the critical nature of continuing on the next generation. So we're working on campus. We are shedding things that are not helpful, things that detract and distract. And so we are very, very single-minded to the most part, and we've seen tremendous results as a result of having that focus.
Can you tell us exactly what sort of results you're seeing now then?
Well, we're seeing, I would say it's in two areas. We've seen 20-year-olds come on staff, which had not happened since 1993. And so we've had a number of 20-year-olds come on staff, and we're also seeing these students being envisioned with the same type of thing. We're realizing that if we don't have staff that are doing movement and leading students into that, they're going to be much less likely of coming on staff and doing that. And so we want to model to students, to disciples, what it is that we want them to do so they can more easily say, oh, yeah, I see what we're doing. Yeah, that's what I want to give my life to. And if we don't model that before they come on staff, it's likely that they won't do it before. The other thing that we saw is that we needed to help with the support development. When you move from village ministry or this ministry or that ministry into campus, whatever it is, most campuses, at least in the Pacific Island regions, are located in urban areas, and we knew we really had to have a urban mentality. The other mentality that we had to fight against was many times the staff who are used to working in villages or wherever, they had an economic standard that was much lower. And when we moved towards campus, we realized, and I've seen that in other places besides the Pacific, that if you do not demonstrate and model to your disciples, which in this case are students, that you can live kind of a normal life, they're not going to want to join you. They don't come out of poverty to a university to then imagine joining you if you're in a poverty state. And so we wanted to give hope for normality. So we started increasing expectations towards support, and we picked a young urban model and set salary standards around that idea that, say, around a third-year lecturer at a university or a third-year junior accountant in a bank, and what do they make? And that really also helped, because people who go to the university, they want a better life. They want their country to have a better life. And if we kept shunting them back to the village mentality, it wasn't going to happen. So we provided them a means by which they know they can have a normal life within the calling, and that's really helped as well.
Great. Thanks very much, Don. Thank you.
You're welcome.